is done. So I am going ahead and recording now. A couple of housekeeping items. So just make sure that your mic is on mute. It looks like everybody's mic's muted. This helps eliminate background noise and also any kind of audio disturbances. So if you want to make any comments about anything that I'm saying or something that you like about the presentation, go ahead and use the chat function on the upper right-hand corner. Any questions, I'll try to answer them as we go. If not, I'll definitely answer them at the end of the presentation. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start off with a video that I found pretty interesting. It's, I think it was a really good representation of Cal State San Bernardino, and it has a lot of interesting information. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Hey, it's 11:11 right now, you guys. I don't know if you're superstitious, but make a wish. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and then access the video for you. All right, you should be able to see my screen.
Mrs. Sparza, can you pause it real quick? I think we're having issues watching the video and hearing the video.
Oh, okay.
I think, remember last time we had to do where like Chris played it and then you were, like somebody else shared their screen and it worked better? I don't know, maybe that could be something that we do. Or maybe try it again.
So you guys can't hear it on your end?
Not at all.
Oh, wow, okay. Okay, can I send you the link to play it?
Yeah, you can add it to the chat box and then we'll, he could share his screen.
Okay, that works. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the chat box. Thanks for letting me know.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct, but it's wordy.
You have to share your screen though. You can hear the audio just fine, but I think he has to, oh, perfect.
Can you guys hear me now?
We heard you talk, but if the video's playing, I can't hear it.
Okay.
There you go.
What's up, University TV fans? I'm Shayna, and today we're at California State University's San Bernardino. Come join me on my tour. San Bernardino is nestled at the foothills of the San Bernardino Mountains. Because of its great location in Southern California, students are just steps away from mountain resorts for skiing, camping, boating, and hiking.
We're right in the middle of an area where you can go up to the mountains. You can be up in the mountains in minutes. You can literally walk out the back door. We can be at the beach within an hour and a half, which is really quite something.
Cal State San Bernardino has been recognized as one of the most beautiful campuses, with the mountains, the lush trees, and the wide green spaces surrounded by modern buildings.
I think it's a really pretty campus. It's still a place where there's lots of wide open spaces, and you can find that cup of coffee and you can find a very quiet place to go and sit on a really nice day and study or take a nap or just meditate before you go to class. And I think that's really important to somebody who's going to college, is the opportunity to just ramp down for a few minutes.
San Bernardino weather is awesome. It's usually sunny. There's probably just a week or two of really hard rainfall, but I think the weather is perfect for anything that you want to do outdoors, and it just keeps you in the mood to wake up in the morning and go to school. Cal State San Bernardino's Robert V. Fullerton's Art Museum is a fine art showcase and home to one of the finest privately held collections of Egyptian antiquities in the world. San Bernardino is a large school with more than 17,000 students, yet impressively, their student-to-faculty ratio is a low 23-1. The student population is one of the most diverse in California, with not a single ethnic majority group on campus. Women represent 65% and men 35%. All students with a 3.0 GPA automatically qualify no matter what their SAT or ACT score. Those with a 2.0 GPA need to receive at least an SAT of 1300 or a 30 ACT score. Non-resident students are required to have an even higher eligibility index. In-state, students will pay about $4,800 in tuition, while those coming from out-of-state will pay more in non-resident fees. More than 70% of all CSUSB undergrads receive some level of financial aid, and nearly 60% of full-time undergrad students have their fees completely paid for. I think that's a big deal for students that you don't really think about while you're in school, but afterwards when you have all those student loans coming in, you think, man, what did I get myself into? So I think if you can get the same education that you can get in an Ivy League school or a bigger university, why not just come here and do it and save yourself some money? The university offers more than 70 programs and certificates organized into 5 academic colleges. Many of their programs have earned specialized national accreditation. Cal State has one of the top psychology departments in the nation. It's actually ranked 13. The university is recognized as one of the nation's largest teacher training institutions. Majors most popular among students are nursing, psychology, liberal studies, criminal justice, communications, and biology.
Department of Biology, 3 or 4 years ago, every single student who applied to medical school got in. A 100% success rate, which is unheard of. Western University of Health Sciences Medical School actually has an articulation with the biology department. Students actually get into medical school as sophomores at Cal State San Bernardino because they have so much respect for our biology program. It's a really terrific program.
Cal State San Bernardino has 467 full-time faculty members, and more than 50% are tenured and serve on various prestigious national committees, associations, and editorial boards.
Despite budget cuts, we have clung to our student-faculty ratios and our teaching labs tenaciously, whereas lots of institutions have gotten rid of laboratories, we have not. And because of that, our students do really well when they go to things like dental school and medical school and so on. They go into the laboratories there with experience. A lot of our students go to those places. They're number one where they go.
11 Coyote teams compete in the NCAA Division II. Collectively, they have captured 14 conference championships and 9 regional titles. The men's basketball and women's volleyball team are nationally ranked year after year. 34 athletes have earned All-American awards, and 2 have been named Players of the Year. And the cross-country team has won 9 consecutive All-American awards. CSUSB has 3 separate student housing complexes, ranging from traditional dormitories to luxurious apartment-style units with a total of more than 1,500 beds.
I never left home before, first time living on my own and everything. So it got kind of crazy at first, but it was definitely fun. Met a lot of people. Just a great atmosphere to be in.
San Bernardino offers more than 100 student organizations, giving you the opportunity to get involved and learn leadership skills.
At the rec center, they have intramural sports, football, baseball, also outdoor programs they have. Just don't go to class and go back to your dorm or back to home. Definitely get involved, look at different clubs on campuses, fraternities, sororities, or anything that just makes the college that much more fun.
So if you're looking for a young, vibrant university, high in value and quality education, take a second look at California State University, San Bernardino. Thanks so much for joining us here at California State University, San Bernardino. See you next time.
Thank you, Mr. Keys, for playing that. Awesome. So while I sent Mr. Keys the other link to play, and this is just another a different perspective on the school. It's not as like energized, but it still gives you a lot of information and gives you different views of the school. So Mr. Keys, can you go ahead and bring up the other link I gave you?
I sure can.
Thank you. You're a lifesaver.
What's going to work? Teamwork.
Yes. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. So in the college search, you can go ahead and just type in CSUSB. There you go. Yes, perfect.
Welcome to California State University at San Bernardino, a public university in the 23-school California State University system. Located approximately 60 miles east of Los Angeles, CSUSB's 440-acre campus is home to more than 18,000 undergraduate and graduate students. They pursue degrees in one of 6 colleges, including the College of Arts and Letters and the College of Natural Sciences. Cal State San Bernardino is known for its Fullerton Art Museum, diverse student body, as well as community outreach and service-oriented programs. Let's take a look at the campus.
And then go ahead and click on the student union arrow on your right-hand side, Mr. Keys. Thank you. And you'll have to do that.
You will probably frequent the student union at least once a day, for this is where many of the on-campus dining options are located, like Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, Starbucks, and the market. The student union is also a hub for student activities, with more than 100 organizations to join and many exciting events on the calendar. Some of the most popular events include Taste of India, Acoustic Coffee House, gaming events in the Gamers Lounge, and dances.
And then go ahead and click the next, the library link on your right-hand side.
Located in the Texas campus and named after Cal State San Bernardino's first president, the Fowl Library was constructed in 1968, with a new wing added in 1994. The 5-story facility is home to a large collection of print and media resources, a computer lab, a cafe, classrooms, and a myriad of study areas. The Fowl Library also runs several lecture series, one that occurs at lunch and another that features speakers on local history topics.
And go ahead and click on University Hall.
Constructed in 1991, University Hall houses the Career Development Center as well as the Office of Undergraduate Studies, both of which assist students with meeting their educational and career goals. University Hall is also home to the Writing Center, a valuable resource for students in need of writing assistance. Graduate students in the Masters of English Composition program serve as writing consultants. The name Coyote Bookstore references the animal nickname given to Cal State San Bernardino athletes. The bookstore is open 6 days a week to serve all your textbook needs, but additionally, it also sells computers, apparel, art supplies, and many items that express school pride. The Coyote Bookstore also offers access to digital textbooks when possible, which should cut down on your book expenses each semester.
And you can go on to Chaparral Hall. You're doing awesome, Mr. P.
Chaparral Hall was one of the 3 original buildings constructed at CSUSB when it first welcomed students back in 1965. At that time, fewer than 300 students were enrolled at CSUSB, and most classes were taught here. Continuous growth has since added many more academic buildings, but this one is still primarily used for classroom space.
Do you want me to go into administration?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Thank you.
The administration building is home to several important offices, like academic affairs and academic resources, the latter of which is responsible for the annual commencement ceremony. Also located here is the Office of Academic Research, which helps support both faculty and students in seeking research and scholarship opportunities.
And then Sierra Hall.
Sierra Hall was one of the first buildings on campus and served as an administrative building. Here you can find the offices of the Vice President, Human Resources, and the College of Extended Learning. The College of Extended Learning encourages prospective students of all ages to pursue academic goals. Offerings include intensive English language programs, professional development certificates in business and education, as well as many of the university's regular classes.
And of course, performing arts.
Students enrolled in theater, arts, and music courses utilize the performing arts facility on a near daily basis. Within these departments, students can focus on areas such as drama education, acting, musical theater, puppetry, and music technology. Even if you aren't enrolled in theater or music classes, you can attend one of the many performing arts events like a jazz concert, no coward play, opera, or even a Broadway show.
And I think that's it. Can you click on entrance? I think that's the last one.
You got it.
Welcome to California State University at San Bernardino, a public university in the...
And yeah, you can stop the presentation. We're good now. All right. Thank you so much. That was really helpful. I did test it last night and it was fine. So I'm wondering what's going on. But all right. So that's the overview of Cal State San Bernardino. Now I want to get to the nitty gritty about what is going to be required from you and the different types of resources that will be available to you. Since I don't really know like what challenges you have or what concerns you have, I like to give a broad overview about the campus and talk about maybe different resources that are available to you too. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and bring up a PowerPoint presentation. Get that out of the way. All right, so we're going to talk about how to get you into the college and how to get you to that end result of graduating. So admissions requirements. So these are things that you're working on right now. These are things that you can help to make yourself a competitive student to get into Cal State San Bernardino. So first of all, Cal State universities, they look at your GPA, your grade point average, and they look at your SAT or your ACT scores. And then on top of that, you need to take your A through G college prep requirements, and then you can see there how many years they want you to have. And then of course you have to have a C- or better in all of these courses. Now you'll notice in that Cal State San Bernardino requires you to have a minimum GPA of a 2.0, but you definitely do not want to strive for a 2.0. You want to go above that. the average GPA that a student that is admitted into this college has a 3.4. That's the average GPA. So you'll definitely want to try and strive for a 3.4 or higher. And this is not to say that you won't get in with a below a 3.0, but I want you to start considering, where do my standards need to be in order for me to be considered a competitive student and ensure that I get into the program I want to get into. So cost of attendance per year. So this chart, I feel like there's a lot of flexibility here. It may look like a lot of money, but I feel like there are certain areas where you can probably cut down some of the costs. The only fixed cost that you're going to have is the tuition and fees. That is not flexible. And this is based on a full-time student. If you were going to be a part-time student, then of course that cost for tuition and fees would be a little bit lower. So there's two columns there. There's commuter. A commuter is a student who does not live on campus. So they can either live off campus in an apartment or other housing with a roommate or by themselves, or they can live at home and then just drive or commute to the college. And then the on-campus column is for students that will actually live on campus in the dormitories. So you can see tuition fees is the same for both. So books and supplies, and keep in mind this is per year. So books and supplies are the same for both. And for each semester, it's not always going to be the same, because one semester you may need you may just need 2 books for your classes. And then another semester you may need 5 books. So that really fluctuates too. But I think for the entire year for books and supplies, that's probably pretty accurate. Now, food and housing. So you can see on campus is going to be a little bit more expensive because you're paying for the dormitories. Food and housing, I feel like if you're a commuter, it could fluctuate a little bit because there's so many variables. Like you could live at home and not have to pay rent, or maybe you live at home and pay rent, or you have a roommate. So that $6,000 is very dependent on what your situation is. And then transportation, same thing. Someone that lives on campus may not be driving as much, so their cost is going to be a little bit lower. And then the commuter, of course, will have a little bit more expenses. And again, that varies too, because maybe you're carpooling with somebody, or maybe you're taking the bus to campus. So that can fluctuate too. That can get a little bit lower depending on how you want to balance out your money and your costs. And then of course, personal and miscellaneous, you're always going to have that. Like maybe you're going to need a new pair of shoes, or you need new clothes, or you get sick and you need medication. So that's what that miscellaneous is for. So the totals, they look like a lot, but it depends on your situation and how tight your budget is too. So I feel like this estimate is kind of on the higher end. But I wanted to give you guys an idea of how much it would cost. And for Cal State San Bernardino, that's a really good tuition and fee price based on or comparing to UC and private schools. So this is a good deal for your education.
Oh, and I think for like personal, what makes it pretty good, or miscellaneous expenses, or part of the tuition cost or fees that they have, is you can utilize like services as like they have on-site like counseling services. They have like a medical office too.
Yes.
Your tuition cost includes that. I know when I was in college, I utilized the counseling services, and so when I didn't have health insurance, but I took advantage of the fact that like that was part of my fee when I was paying and going to school. So utilize that if you guys can.
Yes, exactly. And that is a really good point. And I'm going to be sharing with you some of the resources that can help you cut down costs too. So if you're considering living on campus, here's just an estimate of what it would cost to live in the dorms. Now they have several different villages. This one is the lower costing one. So you can see if you have a roommate, it's going to be a little bit cheaper versus if you want a space all to yourself. And the total cost is for the entire year. So I believe in the winter and the summer, you have to, the dormitories are not open. So this is mostly for the fall and for the spring. So I just wanted to give you an idea. And these prices go up depending on which village you want to live in and how many roommates you have. There is an option to have up to 4 roommates in one room. But the space is bigger and there's 2 bathrooms. So that means the cost is a little bit higher too. All right, so you need to have a social life because you're going to be working hard with academics and you need to socialize. One of the good ways and healthy ways is to join a club. So this is a small blip of the clubs that they have at Cal State San Bernardino. I searched the clubs on their website and there is literally 2 pages of like practically fine print of clubs that they have. And for any category that you can even think of, they have a variety of honor societies, they have the fraternities and the sororities, they have religious clubs. So this is just a quick idea of the types of clubs, but they have so many different clubs. And like I said, this is a good way to socialize and just to get out there. And again, a good opportunity to network and find opportunities and resources for yourself. All right, so here's some of the resources that I was talking about. If you're not familiar with the term DREAMers, it's basically a minor or a student that was brought into the US unlawfully by their parents. And they may have some challenges with trying to get through school. So Cal State San Bernardino has their own resource and success center dedicated to students that may have these types of challenges. They also have financial aid that's available. They have the AB 540 and DACA. And if you're not familiar with that, you can always swing by their resource center, even if you're not a student, just to get information. They're always having workshops available to explain what it's about. So even if you're a junior or a senior, you can still attend those workshops to get a step ahead of everything. And then we have educational opportunity programs, which is called EOP. When you go to college, you're going to notice there's acronyms for everything. So if you were to ask somebody that works at a college, oh, where can I get these resources? They'll say, oh, go to EOP. So I'm just trying to get you used to the acronyms that they use there. EOP is another wonderful area for resources. It assists students with low income and first generation students. I myself am a first generation student, so I can understand how scary the process can be, especially when your family doesn't know the process and they have a hard time guiding you. So EOP is a really good resource, excuse me, if you're a first generation student. And here's some more resources. The services for students with disabilities, if you have an IEP now, and even if you don't, and you feel like you need additional resources to be successful with your classes, you'll want to go to the SSD and probably bring a copy of your IEP with you so they can get an idea of the types of assistance that you may need. So if you feel like you're struggling in some classes, you can always swing by this department and they'll do an assessment and they'll give you, hopefully you'll qualify for additional resources to be successful in your courses. And then we have the counseling and psychological services, CAPS. The counseling end of it will mostly be academic counseling. So that's going to help you build your student education plan. It'll help you If you have a certain major in mind, they'll tell you what courses you should take, and maybe how, like nursing, somebody mentioned nursing, they'll let you know specifically like what sciences you have to take, how competitive is the program. And then we have the Queer and Transgender Resource Center, which is awesome. They have tons of workshops on campus to support everybody, because it's the campus community has so many different varieties of people with challenges or whatever, what have you. The Health Center is another really good resource. It can help you with, if you have a headache or you have a cold, you can go there to get free medication. There's free birth control there. They have so many interesting things. They have mental health workshops, so they'll have like weekly groups maybe, or just how to calm yourself, or taking anxiety, things like that. And then the writing center is going to be really helpful because you're going to be writing a lot. And so let's say you have a draft of your first paper, and then you can take that draft with you to the writing center, and someone will look it over and help you fine tune that. So, and this is just a couple, there's so many resources on campus for you. And this is not an exhaustive list of majors, but this is a good view of what they do have to offer. And so I mean, this is probably maybe half of the majors that they offer, but you can see they have a little bit of everything. Okay, impacted majors. Every college has this. And if you're not familiar with the term, impacted majors means that the school is receiving more applications than they have seats available. So that means that that major is more competitive. And that means that you have to make yourself more competitive. So we talked about that GPA. That's another way to get yourself to be more competitive, to hopefully guarantee that you get a seat in that major. So for Cal State San Bernardino, these are those impacted majors. There's that nursing. Every community college and four-year college, nursing is very competitive. When you do start off with your sciences, you're going to want to make sure that you knock those sciences out of the park with the best grade possible. And as a former college counselor, I always got students wanting to do the pre-allied or the allied health and criminal justice. So those are all competitive majors, and they're also impacted majors. And let's end off on a positive note, financial aid. So I threw a ton of numbers at you and they may feel intimidating, but here's the good thing. Out of all the students that attend Cal State San Bernardino, 80% of those students have grants and scholarships. And that is a wonderful number, because grants and scholarships mean that they are gifts to you and you do not have to repay them. That's what you want to strive for. You want to strive for those grants and scholarships. So the first way to do that is to make sure that you fill out your FAFSA. That's the free application for federal student aid. And that's going to give you access to those grants, possibly loans. And loans mean that you have to repay it. And then there's also work study. So work study is working part-time on campus to help you offset the tuition cost. And on top of all that, we have the college scholarships. So each college has their own college scholarships, and you'll want to get in contact with the financial aid and scholarship department to find out more about that. Now, when I was a college counselor, a lot of those scholarships went unawarded because students didn't apply for them. So take the time to apply for them. All right, and that's all I have for the PowerPoint. So let me go ahead and unshare my screen. All right, so let me check real quick. They do have Anime Club, definitely. If you, Esmeralda, if you really want to look at the clubs that they have, just go to Google CSUSB clubs, and it'll pop up with a whole list of clubs. But they have something for everybody. Definitely, anime is a popular one. So for the SSD services, is it just for IEP? No. So if you have an IEP now, it will be helpful for the SSD department. That's the Students with Disabilities department. It'll be helpful for them to see what you've had in the past. But you don't necessarily have to have one. You can go to that program or to that department and just let them know, I think I need a little bit more resources to help. And then they'll meet with you and they'll assess and see if you do qualify for resources. So you don't need an IEP, but if you do have one, it's helpful for you to take a copy of it to that department to start off. All right, does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, here's another question. Does that apply to people who have existing medical conditions as well? Yes. So what's going to happen is when you go in to see if you can get additional support, they may ask for a recommendation from your doctor. So it just depends what the situation is, because everybody is so unique and not every situation is the same. So it depends is always going to be the answer, because it depends on the medical condition. It depends how it affects you with your learning. So yes, I would definitely go to the SSD department and check and see what services they may have for you. And this goes for any college. All right, so lastly, I'm going to share a link, and I would like to ask everybody if they can click on this link. It is a short survey. I mean, it's literally 4 questions. It's going to take you 1 minute, probably less. If you can click on that and answer the survey and hit submit before you leave, that would be so helpful. That's going to help our counselors to build better programs for you. Or if you have ideas that we may not have thought about, that's going to be helpful for us too. So please, in the chat, I submitted a link for you. If you can click that and just answer the 4 questions really quick. With the other counselors, do you guys have anything you'd like to add?
San Bernardino is a really great school. So if it's something you're interested in, let us know and we can help you get ready for next year for applying.
And then a lot of the services that are here are not just only in Cal State San Bernardino, they're in various colleges. But one of the programs that I'm glad that I took advantage of is I did the study abroad program twice. And it was, I would recommend if you would like to study abroad, your college is connected or university is connected to various, whether it's a learning center there or it is the same college courses that you would be taking at your college site, but it would be in another country. It was a wonderful experience. I would recommend it. That would be something that you would like to do. You could be taking, if you're interested in doing sociology, you could be taking social classes while you're studying in Italy. It's a wonderful experience. I
agree. You know what? I'm so glad that you brought that up, because they also have financial assistance for study abroad too. And I've known a couple of teachers that go to study abroad every year, and it's a wonderful experience. So I agree. I'm glad you brought that up.
What would be a good idea? Oh, Amaya, sorry. is if you, whoever's your school counselor, if you can send us an email, but you could actually, depending on what it is, we can make up the letter grades. You would just have to retake the class. So that we have to submit a request for it, and then our registrar will do an adjustment and be able to have you retake the courses you would need to retake. So you can send us an email. That's probably the best way.
That's a good question. All right, so just make sure you guys fill out that survey. I truly appreciate it. And thanks so much for being here. And I hope this presentation was helpful for you. Thank you, Sierra.
Thank you guys for joining us. I miss seeing you all.